Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of Above It All. And I am certainly going to be above it all today. I'm going to participate in some intra-left cancel culture discourse, everybody. So, let's get started. So, the top tweet here has 50,000 likes. And if you're wondering where I fall on this top tweet, I think it's cringe. I think it's very cringe. And I'm going to explain why. There is this, and I've got this other tweet highlighted. I just kind of scrolled down and looked for, things that I could highlight that gives a decent understanding of where I lie on this. There, I don't know, it's hard to start with this one, so I'm just going to free flow it. Cancel culture. Let's start from this angle. What is cancel culture? When you think of cancel culture, what do you think of? Do you think of a woke college student saying that someone said something problematic and then deleting them on Facebook? Or do you think of a systemic governance that has created hundreds and hundreds of years of oppression and suppression of certain ideas, certain thoughts, and certain people? When I think of cancel culture, I don't think of a woke college student saying, "Oh man, that's so problematic, bro," on their Twitter post. I think of liberal and conservative governments, say, I don't know, enslaving certain kinds of people for hundreds and hundreds of years. I think of these governments maybe, I don't know, not giving certain kinds of people voting rights, like women, for hundreds and hundreds of years. When I think of cancel culture, I think of people losing on job opportunities because of the political beliefs that they hold, people losing book deals, people maybe getting turned down for teaching gigs, maybe people getting, I don't know, maybe people getting fired for professing certain kinds of beliefs. I don't think of people on Twitter when I think of cancel culture. So with that out of the way, I'm going to talk about people on Twitter. So there is this interesting, I think, divide in people that identify as left-leaning or leftists online and in online spaces, and the people that identify as leftists and left-leaning people that are in online spaces but are more concerned with offline spaces. And I find myself, even though I'm a very, I would even say extremely online person, I consider myself in the latter category. I consider myself more concerned with offline spaces. So when I say that, what I mean by that is, as a leftist, as someone who is as far left as you could possibly get on the social spectrum, on the economic spectrum, on whatever spectrum you want to say, I'm literally off the board. I'm so far left. Like, if you're playing Monopoly, right, on like a coffee table, right, I'm like the next door neighbor. I'm so far left, right? And what my overall goal is when it comes to my politics is creating a world where everyone is able to live happily and peacefully, and everyone is able to do what they want in life with the minimal possible restrictions. And I'm not going to get too much into the grand analysis of how automation is going to get into that and how we're going to approach fully automated luxury space communism, right? That's for another video. But my politics is concerned with how everyday people interact with each other, how people respect each other. My politics is more concerned with how people respect themselves and less concerned with trying to make a cool Twitter group that I can interact with, right? And a lot of people conflate these two things. A lot of people, and I'm not trying to say I'm against cancel culture and anyone who promotes cancel culture is canceled, because that's not my take here. All right, but the top tweet here that says white leftists telling other white leftists that it's okay that they used to be fascists. No, baby, it's not actually. What does that mean exactly? The vibe that this gives off is that it's not okay, if you used to believe certain things that were highly problematic or even extremely dangerous, right? So what does it mean if it's not okay? Well, I don't know. What does okay mean? Now, this is a tweet that was probably just tweeted out, someone off the cuff making their blog, and it just kind of went viral on Twitter, right? So who knows what the intention is? And I'm not going to even bother trying to get the intention of this person because ultimately I don't care what this person thinks. I'm here to give a wider, more concrete message, more concentrated message. Well, concentrated to the best of my ability that I can in a rambling video without a script. You know, I don't know how long this video is going to be. Might be 10, might be 20. Who knows? But what I want to say here is when people engage in cancel culture from the left, not from the liberal center, but from the left, anti-capitalist leaning people, not people that are Hillary Clinton, brunch goers. Cancel culture is the worst possible, play from the liberal playbook. If you looked at the 2016 election, so many people were put off by the idea that Hillary Clinton's campaign, would say things like, oh, the basket of deplorables. And while it's true that there are a lot of people in their current state that are deplorable and disgusting and heinous in what they believe, saying that as a presidential candidate and saying that with a platform of the Democratic Party, one of the two major platforms or two major parties in the United States, right? It's a bad play. If the goal is attaining power, which a major political party's goal should be to attain power, this isn't a Twitter blog of somebody, this is a political party and machine. If their goal is attaining power, excommunicating and excluding people is not how you gain power. Now, does that mean persuasion should be number one goal? Does that mean conversion should be the number one goal? No. But what it means is you shouldn't completely shut out those goals. So when I think of cancel culture, right, I think of leftists, or at least people that self-identify as leftist, taking the worst play from the liberal playbook and then applying it to an even wider group of people. We have to understand that left-leaning ideas and thoughts are unpopular in the United States. Now, Medicare for all, right? 70% approval rating. That doesn't mean people that are, because they're on board with Medicare for all, they're going to be on board with democratizing the entire workplace and getting rid of a state apparatus. And you need to understand that. So, what I say when I'm saying this is cancel culture, when applied by liberals, is the Democrat-Republican culture war kind of thing, right? It's this kind of idea that you're either a liberal or you're a conservative. You're a Democrat or a Republican. And those two are trying to, they give this all, idea that it's 50-50, maybe 45-55, somewhere down the middle, and you're either one or the other. But when you're doing this from the left, you're even more fringe. When you try to cancel people who are conservative, who are liberal, from the left, you are not saying, all right, 40 to 50% of the population, you're deplorables. What you're saying is 70 to 80% of the population, you are deplorables. And that is just a really bad move. That's just as far as if the goal is attaining power and the goal is growth in the movement, that is probably the most counterproductive thing you can do. Now, if this is what your personal philosophy is for what your Discord server is going to be, or what your little friend group is, fine, cool. If you want people that are as similar to you as possible for your personal friend group or for your podcast or for whatever, that's cool. That's fine. I don't care. But what I think here when I see tweets like this is that people have this idea that they are the main character, and that when you come, you being the general person on the left, when you come to the understanding of leftist politics and ideals, you feel like you have graduated and you're on another plane of existence, which is all well and good. But people take it too seriously, and they engage in what I call main character syndrome. So again, it's okay if you want to say, oh, I want to have as similar, thinking and historically leaning people as possible to me and my friend group. That's fine. But when you go on Twitter and you make definitive decrees that people aren't good no matter what because of their history, because of how they were raised, that's where it gets a little cringy. If you want to police your own little group, that's fine, whatever. Okay, I'm not even interested. I'm not even less interested in that. I'm not interested in that at all. Like, really, I just don't care. But when you make these decrees to say, oh, when you were 15 years old, your entire family were conservative, Bush supporters and supported the war. And as a result, you supported the war and you were a Bush supporter. And because of that, you're canceled. And even if you get over it, even if you move on, it's not okay, and you're still canceled. And everyone should look at you with scorn. And I know I'm hyperbolizing a little bit of this, but it's just for the sake of argument. I have a lot of right-wingers in my comment section, and I mock them on a frequent basis. I am not saying that I'm a perfect person, but I'm aware of my imperfections. And as a YouTube person, when I make a lot of these videos, I make them for the sake of starting arguments. I love starting arguments. However, you have to understand, my YouTube platform, my goal is not to attain power. My goal is a blog, first and foremost, to explain my personal feelings. I get like 200 views a video, right? But I'm aware of that. I know I say stupid things sometimes, and that's okay. Because I'm not trying to become the President of the United States. I'm not trying to make a platform that is as far-reaching and wide-reaching as possible, and maybe I should. And maybe this video will springboard that. But with that understanding, already at 12 minutes, holy moly. With that understanding, I need to explain to people that on the other side of the coin, personal growth is required for the growth of a movement. You cannot say, right, if you want a left-leaning or a leftist government, if you want power that is of the left, you cannot be discriminatory in how you attain that power. Does that mean you need to have a coalition with people that think that, I don't know, trans people should be executed? No. But what it means is that you need to be interested in having those people that think trans people should be executed not think that trans people should be executed. Because if your movement is stuck at 30% in the polls, right, you need to find a way to go to 35 to 40%. You can't just be content with being at 30%. You can't just be like, all right, we're never going to gain power. We're going to have a cool Twitter podcast, right? Like our friend group is going to be rad, but we're never going to have power. And you can't say that and then act like you're the main character. Act like you're saying, I decree that no one should have this power, because it's not good. As far as a left movement is concerned, we need to be more empathetic. We need to be more helpful. We need to be more willing to help other people. And that's where I try to be. I try to talk to everyone that ever sends me a message, right? If I get like an email, if I get a tweet or a DM or whatever, I try to be as nice as possible to the people that interact with me. Because if I project good vibes, I make other people happy. And I make other people happier with themselves. And I make other people more comfortable with themselves. And being comfortable with yourself is one of the main ways to improve yourself. Now, on the fascist pipeline, in this tweet here, I just want to read this tweet that I've had up on the screen that I've ignored for 15 minutes. The alt-right pipeline indoctrinates children from a young age into thinking they believe in their ideology. It is so easy to convince a young, impressionable person that there is a single enemy, all to blame all their problems on. If they escape that, I can't hold it against them. And so, I want to wrap this in to my personal history. I had no friends in school. I had no family, right? I was raised by a single mother who I did not get along with and who I did not talk to at all, okay? And as a result, when I gained access to the internet, I had nothing. I had no beliefs. I had no ideologies. Now, I also had no friends. So when I first started to make friendships with people, they meant a lot to me because those were the first friendships that I had ever gained. Now it turns out that a lot of those people that I interacted with were very right-leaning individuals, were very racist individuals, were homophobic, were transphobic individuals. Now, keep in mind, the context for my personal story is I had no friends. So from going to having no friends to having friends, but you understand that these friends aren't the best people, right? It's especially when you're depressed. It's an easy choice. All right, whatever. These people aren't great, but you know what? They're willing to talk to me. They're willing to engage in me, and maybe we can't have conversations about certain things, but we can have conversations, and that's a hell of a lot better than wallowing to myself. You know, being depressed, watching Dragon Ball Z on repeat over and over, wishing I could kill myself, that I did when I was 14, when I was 15, that I was 16. So when I came online and I had a group of friends that were right-wing, I projected those values onto my YouTube content. I was a YouTuber from the age of 14, and so when I gained a following that was ostensibly right-wing, and I gained a sense of community that was right-wing, I projected those ideas onto my content. Now, does that mean I fully believed in their ideologies? Not really. But the sense of community that is garnered and gained in these pipelines is what's extremely important. And so when you're on the left and you think you're above it all, unlike myself, you know, which is actually above it all, and you say, okay, I know you have a sense of community based on right-wing ideologies, and I know that you have no friends or family outside of that. And what you're saying, when you say that that's not okay, is you're saying that you need to excommunicate yourself from your entire friend groups, your entire family, and you do need to be on your own because I don't like you and I'm not willing to communicate with you, and you need to be on your own and figure your own stuff out. Well, that's all well and good. Maybe for you, right? Maybe for you that already has a friend group, that already has a sense of community. But what I understood when I was dealing with coming out as gay, when I was dealing with coming out as trans, is I felt trapped. And I was also a live streamer. I was also a content creator. And so I have first-hand experience with how profitable it is to project right-wing values online. I used to make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars being an edgy gamer live streamer. And you can Google all the stuff I used to do, and I don't care if you Google all the stuff I used to do, because if I did care, you know what I would do? I would not use the same YouTube channel I used since I was 14. I would not use the same, I would change my identity. I would change a lot of things. I would delete my videos. You can watch videos on this channel that I made when I was 15 years old, when I was 18 years old, when I was 20 years old, and you can watch the same videos that I made when I was 24 years old, like I am now, because I'm not ashamed of what I used to do or how I used to be. Do I think it was cringy? Yes. Do I think it was awful? Yes. Do I think it was disgusting? Yes. But that doesn't mean I'm going to hide it. That doesn't mean I'm going to, live my life in eternal shame because of how I was raised, because of the communities that I stumbled into when I was a teenager, because that's not how people should live. And when leftists try to enforce those beliefs on others, what it does is it gives them the choice between, oh, I've got a friend group and a job. Like for me, I used to make thousands and thousands of dollars projecting edgy, racist gamer memes, 4chan shit. I used to basically be bought and paid for by 4chan. I used to have a lot of stream viewers that were willing to give me hundreds of dollars for being a racist edgelord on my Twitch stream. Okay? So when you say you have to give all of that up, and I offer you no replacement, what you're saying is, I don't care what you do, and I don't mind if you continue doing what you're doing, just as long as you understand I disapprove. Now, for me personally, me being gay, queer, pansexual, I'm pansexual, but at the time, you figure things out slowly, one thing at a time. Me being trans was a huge problem for that career move. If I weren't trans, I could have probably still been making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I could probably have a Fox News gig at this point if I was on the same trajectory that I was, when I was 20 years old, when I was 18 years old. But I decided, you know what? I care about myself. I lived my entire life being depressed up until a point. I would even say up until this year on a spectrum sense, right? I lived my entire life being depressed. And so when I started to get a lot of money from getting a little bit famous and a little bit recognition in right-wing circles, I decided, you know what? I profited. I got that money. It's time to work on myself. And I decided when I already had some of that money, I decided, you know what? I don't need any more. I decided, you know what? I'm going to actually say the things that I do believe for once and not be a caricature, a cartoon character, to not put on a facade just for attention and for money. And that was hard. To give up a well-paying job, I was making $30,000 to $40,000 in 2017 and on trajectory in 2018 to do even more than that. I was making a lot of money being an edgy cartoon character on a stream, and I decided to give that up because it was not fulfilling. Because it kind of just didn't work with me being transgender, and a lot of my opportunities started to dwindle with me being transgender. Now, I could have done the whole Blair White thing, the whole token trans. I could have doubled down on it. But you know what? There comes a point where I didn't want to do that. And it was hard giving up all of my friend groups. It was hard giving up my entire family because a lot of my family on my mother's side, right, were very, very transphobic. They were pretty right-wing. And it was hard giving up everything I had materially, right, to actually project the things that I wanted to believe in. And I can say that I had a few people that were willing to rough it out with me. I had a few people that were willing to talk to me, to help me, figure myself out. That's why I took a year off of streaming. That's why I started a political show, because I had that room to read. I had that room to study. I had that room to grow. And if I had to choose between being completely alone or making a fuckload of money being an edgy, racist Twitch streamer, you know what? I probably would have just stuck with the well-paying gig that had a lot of people talking to me and occupying my time. Because being isolated is difficult. And so this is the kind of thing I'm trying to project here, is that when you try to cancel people for the things that they used to believe in, for things that they are getting over or have gotten over, what you are doing is you are saying to them that you don't care what they believe in and that they are a lost cause to you, and that is taking the worst play out of the liberal playbook. Again, I look at the deplorables mindset. Now, if you're on a blog, and if you're on your Twitter page, and this tweet may have been in that case, and it just blew up because of people self-aggrandizing, right? Whatever. I don't care. Alright? If you want to police your own friend group, that's fine. Right? I don't care. But if you have any sense of wanting to attain power, then you need to understand that you need to be as approachable as possible, because there's a lot of people out there that are stuck and that are preyed upon at a young age, like myself. I made a YouTube channel when I was 14, right? And as a result, I had a platform, and a bunch of right-wing people decided to funnel money into me to make me say the things that they believed, and I fell for it because I was an idiot, and because, most importantly, I was alone. And when you have no alternative to that, when you give people not even no alternative, but a hope, to dash their hopes of ever being in an alternative, then what you're saying is, we don't care what you do, keep doing it. And if what you're saying is, we don't care, keep doing it, what you're saying is, we don't care if a fascist movement grows. Now, when Donald Trump was elected, right, I didn't care that much. But over the first 6 months to a year, I realized how bad and how dangerous the ideologies that were surrounding me and surrounding the Donald Trump campaign were. And I realized that I wanted no part of it. But again, I was getting paid thousands of dollars to just project a neutral vibe. And that's all they needed me to do. And so, again, I could have continued to do that. I could have weaponized and doubled down on my trans, neutral or right-wing ideologies. But I decided, you know what? I wanted to have self-respect. I decided, you know what? YouTube is my platform. It is my, I had no contracts with people. I had no editors. It was all me. And I decided to turn my platform into something that's good instead of bad. Because at the end of the day, I don't care if I had money. Because the money, in the end, didn't fix my problems. The problems I had that I thought could be fixed with money weren't fixed with money. And that's what's important to understand. And so when this is a very rambly video, and maybe, I should have, scripted it out. But, that's not my style. That's not my style. I'm not a scripter. I don't script. Maybe I should, but I don't. And so my point here is, if we want to build a left that's actually, that has any chance of attaining power, again, we have a lot to work with. 70% of America believes in a universal healthcare system, right? Bernie Sanders almost won the Democratic nomination. And again, you can, say that the Democrat primary was rigged, which I believe, but we have a lot to work with. And doing this intra-left fighting discourse is just a waste of our time. So when people vote shame, when people say, oh, you're canceled because you're voting for Biden and that makes you a fascist or whatever, they're just fools. And does that mean you should cancel them in return? No. What it means is we should engage in open discourse with one another. We should try our best. And some people, yes, some people are deplorables. Some people cannot be reasoned with. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. There's a reason why I have at the bottom right corner of all my videos, disagree? I'm open to all debate challenges. There's a reason for that. I uploaded a debate the other day with someone I heavily disagree with. And I have no idea if I manage to sway them on anything. But you know what? If I don't try, then what am I doing here? I'm just blogging and trying to make myself feel good. And you know what? That's cool. That's fine. But I want more than that. And I decided that I do want more than that. So in an effort to want more than just feeling good about how left I am, I'm going to make my platform more open. I accept debate challenges from anybody. If you have a mic or a webcam and a mic or whatever, and you want to talk to me for as long as you want, let's hash it out. Add me on Discord, whatever. That's fine with me. Because at the end of the day, I want to help people help themselves, and that is what the message of the left is. If you have a right wing that says, we don't care what you've done, we bring everyone into the fold, they're ostensibly and very openly anti-cancel culture, right? Now, again, that's only if people believe what they believe. They're anti-free speech they're anti-free speech on anything except for what they believe. So that's why it's so easy for people to fall into their pipeline, because if they said something and then, they're canceled. Like, again, you can Google me. I'm canceled now. I'm canceled. Okay. Well, what is that? That frame just, it creates an environment of preying on people. The right wing will say, guess what? We won't cancel you. Just come to our side. We'll help you out. We'll talk to you. We'll be your friends. We'll play video games with you. We'll watch anime together. That's all well and good. But when you've got a left that can't agree on whether or not personal growth is a good thing at all, that's why we're losing. And I'm not here to make any, this is why the left loses. I'm not here to be self-aggrandizing. What I'm here to do is I'm here to try to make people be more open. One of the things that meditation has taught me, recently I've been starting to meditate, I've been starting to read more, I've been starting to work on myself, diet, exercise, dream therapy, exploring my subconscious. Alright? What this has taught me is that there is such a huge void of this, the personal, satisfaction all across the world. And when leftists like aren't satisfied with themselves. They project unsatisfaction outwardly. And I am becoming more and more satisfied with who I am. And I'm becoming more and more comfortable with who I am. And as a result, what I'm doing is I want to build. I don't care if you hated trans people 6 fucking days ago and you found my channel, and then you're thinking to yourself, God dang it, this trainee has a good point. And then like all of a sudden you start believing in the tenets of Marxism. I don't care. I'm not going to cancel you forever. Because that's cringe. Because if I want to grow my power base, that starts with persuasion. That starts with de-radicalization. And you have to understand, right-wing media, all the corporations are right-wing. Yes, MSNBC, CNN, they're right-wing. Alright? You have to understand our school systems are right-wing. You have to understand most people, especially white people in this country, are right-wing. Or at least they were when they were raising children. You know? Like maybe parents right now that are raising children right now are less right-wing. But you have to keep in mind a lot of people that are in their 20s, like myself, or in their 30s, were raised in the 80s, 90s, early aughts. Right? Where we had a far-right system of governance and a far-right culture. Alright? And you have to understand that people are a product of their environment. Alright? People are a product of their material conditions in life. And if you say, oh, you're eternally canceled because you grew up in a bad environment and were subject to right-wing populist ideas, oops, sorry. You have to spend the rest of your life in the gulag now. It's cringe. And all it does is it plays in to the right-wing stereotypes in the right-wing's playbook. Their playbook is, we will welcome anybody into our fold. That's why you see a lot of people who are not white voting for a white supremacist candidate. That's why you see gay people vote for a homophobic candidate. Because you know what? A lot of people aren't perfect. And the right wing will say, we don't care if you're perfect. All we care about is if you vote for us and if you're with us. That's all they care about, for the most part. That's why Trump is president right now, because he weaponized that and he succeeded. So when you give that ground to the right, all you're doing is creating more right-wingers. All you're doing is creating a bubble around yourself that will not expand. And so, again, this video is rambly, but I thought I made a good 32 minutes. Holy shit, this needs to be ending. But my point here is that you cannot grow a movement without accepting people that used to disagree with you. And there is this is like maybe something I'll do more is just comment on Twitter discourse. I don't know, but this whole cancel culture thing, it's so dumb. And there's so many sides of it that are dumb. Now, again, my show is called Above It All. Why? Because I'm above it all, baby. I'm better than everyone else. I am the main character. I know I spent 30 minutes criticizing people with main character syndrome, but god damn it, I am the main character. But you know what? With that, syndrome comes responsibility. And I'm going to use my platform to project good vibes. I'm not going to use my platform to attack people. Right? I always want to improve myself. I always want to improve those around me, and that's my number one goal. So that's the message I'm trying to put out here. So if you disagree, that's cool. Tell me why. Or just unsubscribe and cancel me. I don't care. Right? If you want to Google me and find out I used to be an edgy racist meme lord when I was 18 years old, fine. Unsubscribe. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, all I want to do is help people help themselves. And ultimately, you need a leftist perspective for that. There's a reason why Jordan Petersons exist, and they can go from nobodies to multimillionaires in the span of 6 months. It's because the right wing has monopolized self-help. The right wing has monopolized self-improvement because it's so easy to get people that are lost to come into their fold and just say, it's okay, come into us. And all you have to do is understand that it's the dirty lefties, the dirty libs. Those are the problems. Just come with us. You know? And the fact that there's very little left-wing self-improvement out there is shocking. And that is the void I want to fill. So like I said, one of the things that's helped me come to these conclusions is lucid dreaming, dream therapy, exploring my subconscious, meditation, and that kind of stuff. And that's why I'm going to start a new YouTube series. I'm planning on this weekend starting a new YouTube series that's more focused on lucid dreaming, dream therapy, exploring your subconscious, that kind of stuff, because that's important. Because a lot of people don't do that. The default is just kind of go on autopilot, and I think that that's very important. A lot of people ruin their bodies. I lost 45 pounds in the last since April. I don't even know how long ago that is. Like the date on the calendar is a blur for me, but I'm trying to make my body healthier. I'm trying to make my mind healthier, and I'm trying to like use those things that I'm learning to help you help yourself. And then what that does is it creates a snowball effect. If I help you help yourself, you help yourself, and then you help your friends help themselves, and then they help themselves, and then they help their friends help themselves. That's how we build an international leftist solidarity-based group and construction that can gain power, not by excluding other people, calling them deplorables, canceling them, blocking them forever. Because that's not what I'm about. If someone who I used to be friends with when I was 18, who knew was a racist meme lord who hated gay people back then, comes in and sends me a message on Discord and says, "Hey, how you doing? I'm sorry for all that stuff that happened. Let's catch up." You know what I would say? I would say, "Sorry, you're eternally canceled, blocked." No, of course not. I would say, "All right, let's catch up." Because I've done that to people. I've had people reject me when I came out as transgender, and they have send me a message a year later, 2 years later, saying, "Hey, what's up? I'm sorry about that. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Let's catch up." And you know what I did? I was like, "All right." And I maybe helped them a little bit understand my worldview. I brought them out of what they were in with me back then. And I helped more people help themselves, because that's the number one goal. And you can't be this main character syndrome guy who's like, "I decree that you must go on 17 side quests to level yourself up enough for me to take you." Like, no. No. No, I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. My message is peace and love. Accept everyone. Love everyone. And that's how we grow. That's how we win. Hopefully you agree, and if you disagree, let me know why. Thank you for watching. This is a long video. Maybe I'll just end it here and not do another one today. I don't know. I usually don't make these 30-minute videos, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I got triggered. So here I am. I don't know. I'll see ya. Y'all have a good one. Peace.